Hey everyone, welcome back, and in this video let's talk about methods. What are methods and why do we need them? Now in the previous video we have seen that we made an animal class and a person class, right? And we defined some properties, correct? But if we talk about the real world, in real world these objects, or I can say these classes, have properties as well as some behavior, correct? Like your dog have some properties. It has a color, it has some breed, and it has some name. But it also has some behavior, like your dog can walk, your dog can speak, like basically dog can bark. So we have already talked about what are properties and how we can use properties inside the class, correct? And in this video we'll be talking about the behaviors, like how we can create our own methods to justify a behavior of a particular object. So let's see how we can do that. Let's say I have a class person, correct? Now you know that how to define properties. Let's say a person can have a name, so this is a property, correct? Similarly, a person can have a integer type age, which is absolutely fine. And let's say this person has okay, so I think this is great. Okay, so this person has two properties, a name and an age, right? Now let's make up let's make an object of this particular person. So I'll say person, and I'll say Piyush, which is me, and I'll say new person. And now you can see that Piyush has age and a name. But obviously as a person I can walk, right? I have a behavior, I can speak, I can react, I can drive a car. So there are many things that a person can do, correct? So how can we define them? So basically these are defined in form of functions, and we call these functions as methods. Like if you are from C or C++ background, you already know what are functions, correct? But what are methods is basically, if we take these functions and write them into a class, they are known as methods. So that's the basic difference between a function and a method. So see what I can do, I'll create a function here. Okay, now how to create a function? First we have a return type, okay, let's say void, and then we can have a name of a function. So I can say that this person have a behavior of speaking. So this person can speak, correct? And in this function I can do anything. I can say that I am able to speak now, correct? Able to speak now. Similarly, what we can have one more method. I can say walk, correct? And this function is basically responsible for walking. So I can say that person is walking, right? Simple. Now see what I can do. I can say that, hey Piyush, first of all your name is Piyush because Piyush was just a variable name. Okay, now what I can say, that I can say Piyush, do one thing, walk. Okay, so I can call the walk method right from here. So if I run this program, see what happens. So this program is running and I can see person is walking. I can even do one thing, I can remove this person, okay, and I can have name plus is walking. So this particular name is walking. Okay, so if I run this program now, see what happens. Piyush is walking. Let's say we create one more person, okay, and let's say his name is John, okay, and a new person, and let's set the name of the John. So I'll say John dot name equals to, so his name is John. And similarly what I can do, I can even say that, hey John, go ahead and walk. Now if I run the program, so you can see that Piyush is walking and John is also walking. Now see how magical this is. Like this name automatically gets assigned to whatever object it's called, correct? So if I say John dot walk, automatically it prints out John is walking. I need not to check anything, you know, whose name to pick and who is the caller. So these things are like really great about OOPS. So this is what we call as modularity. So basically I have modularized my code. So all the methods that are related to a person class is inside the person. And similarly I can say that, hey Piyush, go ahead and speak something. Okay, so do one thing, speak something. So I'll say speak. So now Piyush is even able to speak. So I can say that I am able to speak now. And what if, let's say that this Piyush will speak that my name is, and whatsoever your name is, and let's concatenate that, and my age is, and then I can say age. Okay, so currently we have not given the age to the Piyush, so age is coming to be 0. So I can say that, hey Piyush, your age is 22, right? And if I run it now, so you can see that my name is Piyush and my age is 22, which is perfectly fine, correct? And this is how you can have your properties and your methods. So you can define your properties and you can define your methods inside a class, and using the objects you can assign the values and you can call these methods. Okay, now let's see some things about these methods. Okay, like we have many types of methods, like we have parameterized methods, we have non-parameterized, we have methods with return types. So let's see all those methods. Okay, so here you can see it's a simple method, correct? Nothing is going on here. What if I want to make this particular person speak something from the from the outside itself? Like this thing is hard coded, so I can even add parameters here. I can say string what to say. Let's say that this is some variable, okay, and I'll say that do one thing, system.out.println what to say. Now see what I can do. If I go down, you can already see that there is an error because this particular function needs an argument. So I can say that Piyush will say you are now learning Java, right? Now if I run this code, you can already see that you are now learning Java. Now Piyush is saying, okay, just to verify what I can do, I can even say that name concatenate, right, with 2 dots and then again plus. Now see what happens. Now you can say that Piyush says that you are now learning Java. I can even say that hey John, go ahead and speak something. Speak. Oh, that's great, correct? And now if I run the program, oh, that's great. John is saying, oh, that's great. So this is also a valid way. Okay, basically you can pass the arguments to a particular method, and similarly you can even have some return type. I can say that integer ask to add. Okay, let's say ask to add, and I'll have 2 numbers here. Okay, a very basic program, and I'll return a plus b, let's say. So what I'll do, I'll say that hey Piyush, can you do me a favor? That Piyush, do one thing, add me 2 numbers, like add 2 and 3, and whatever result comes in, just store in this particular x, and then what I can say s out x, correct? Now what will happen if I run this program? I'm getting 5. So basically I asked the Piyush class to add 2 numbers. Now this thing is wrong, right? Because the add method should not belong to a person class, correct? A speak is a behavior of a person, which is correct. A walk is also a method of a class person, which is correct. But this ask to add is not, like, it makes no sense to add it in the this thing person class. So like there should be a class named as calculator maybe, and in that calculator we can have these functions, right? So this is what is the benefit of OOPS, right? You get modularity, and you get, like, you can define your variables, you can define your properties, and you can define your methods right here. I hope that you have already started to get some clue about what is OOPS and how this is really beneficial. Okay, now there's one thing that I really want to show you, that is this keyword. What is this keyword? This is really important. Okay, like I say that this is a name, correct? Now what compiler does is basically it automatically adds this dot name. Okay, so if you just say that name, this is basically known as this dot name. Okay, and if I run this program, you can see that it runs. Oh, okay, I removed a function has to add. So yeah, if I run this code, you can see that this code runs fine. Now what is this keyword? Okay, so let's understand what is this keyword. So to understand this keyword, just see this example. Okay, so like you have a person class, correct? A person class. Okay, perfectly fine. And you made 2 objects out of it. So you made a Piyush object and you made a John object, and you assigned some values to the properties of the Piyush, because this person class has 2 properties. It has a name and it has a age, correct? Now I say that John, your name is John and your age is let's say 30. Okay, and I say that Piyush, your name is Piyush and your age is 22. Now in the person class, let's say I have a method and I say s out name. Okay, now whose name should be printed? Like whose name should be printed on the screen? Like it should be Piyush's name or it should be John's name? How to decide that? Okay, so what this keyword does is, let's say I say that Piyush dot Piyush dot speak, correct? Now what will happen is, which object is calling the speak method? This is Piyush, correct? Now automatically what will happen is, if you go there, this keyword, this keyword will be pointing towards this particular object. Let's understand it in this way. You have a class person, which is absolutely fine. Okay, now this is your memory. Okay, this is your memory. In the person class, I say that sout this dot name. Okay, now what is this? Now, like, whose name should be printed? So here is a block for Piyush, like a Piyush class is also taking a memory, and the John's class is also taking a memory. So what will happen is, if Piyush calls this particular function, this will point towards this block. Okay, and if the John calls this function, this keyword will point to this class. Okay, so okay, now you will say that this was even working without this keyword. Okay, so if you don't put this keyword, the compiler automatically injects it for you. Now to demonstrate this thing, that what I'm saying is really valid, let's say you have a name variable here. Okay, now this is also name, this is also name. Now if I say sout name, okay, and in the Piyush.speak, let's say I say that the name, let's say I pass an argument, let's say this is a some random name. Okay, now see what will happen if I run this program. So as you can see, let's remove these things. Okay, and let's even remove these both of the things, and if I now play this thing, so this is some random name. Okay, so what is happening right now is, I call the speak method with some arguments. These arguments are going in this name, and this name is getting like printed on this console, right? Nothing technical there. Now what if I say that print this dot name? Okay, I'm explicitly saying print this dot name. Now let's see what will happen if I run this code. It says Piyush. Why? Earlier when I don't say name, it has already found a name variable in his own scope. So like this particular code will use this particular name variable, which is okay. But if I say this dot name, now this basically refers to the Piyush, right? So this dot name basically refers to this particular line, which is the name. Now if you say this dot, as soon as you say dot, you can see age, you can say name, you can see walk, you can see speak, right? So these all the functions are available in this. So if Piyush is calling some method, this is basically referring to the Piyush. Now let's say, just see this carefully. Let's say Piyush says something to speak. So first of all, I'll like do this thing. Then I'll say this dot walk. Okay, I'll call walk inside the speak method. Now what will happen if I run this code? First, this some random name is getting system.out.println. Then this dot walk is getting called for the Piyush. Piyush is walking, right? Similarly, if John says speak, okay, so what will happen? First of all, this is some random which is taking it from here. Then automatically this is now pointing to John, because John is the caller. And if I say walk, this name automatically belongs to the John. So John is walking. So that's how you can use this keyword. And just in case you don't use this keyword and there is no variable inside your local scope, compiler will automatically inject this here. So if I run this program, you will still get the same output. But it's a good practice to use this keyword whenever you are dealing with the methods or the properties inside a class. So this keyword, I hope with this particular diagram, this keyword concept is clear and you have now more idea on object-oriented programming. So that's all for this video, and from the next video we'll be starting with the pillars of the OOPS. What are pillars and how to use pillars of the OOPS and what are their benefits mainly. So let's meet you in the next video. Until then, bye bye, take care.